Lights, camera, rolling, camo.
This is Garivision Indigenous Network, where the Garifuna culture thrives. From beautiful Piney by the Sea to Barranco, Georgetown, St. Mike, Hopkins, and the culture capital, Dengriga.
This is Garivision Indigenous Network. Garifuna Suada. Well, Biti Guyo, Ida Hiyange. Good evening and welcome to another thought-provoking conversation.
Niceness.
Where we will discuss today the way we were before the colonizers came, and we will discuss a little bit about the mission of Garivision Indigenous Network and what we plan to accomplish. But before we begin, let me bring on Brother Amadi.
Yes, good evening, Francois and viewers. Thank you for joining. I'm excited for this one, Francois. We're going over this back to the way we were. So let's get on with it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So don't forget to like and share. So like and share the show. Again, we'd like to say good evening to each and every one of you. We really appreciate you guys tuning in to Garivision Indigenous Network from the inception over 20 years ago. Our vision has always been to change the way we look at Garifuna one mind at a time. We know it's not easy when you speak the truth. It's not easy when you're trying to restore Garifuna, and it's not easy when you're trying to do what is right. But recently, I shared a photograph of myself right after I had my open heart surgery, and the reason I shared that photograph is to let you, the viewers, know that I've been through the valley of the shadow of death, and I feared no evil. When I was going through my heart surgery, I was ready. I was ready to deal with whatever I had to deal with, and I overcame. I know it was a struggle, but I knew that the ancestors had me locked in. Because before I had my open heart surgery, I made a trip to Balisol, and I've always talked about Balisol, that every Garifuna person who is alive need to go and see Balisol. You need to go and feel the pain that our ancestors endured on that island, that little island of Balisol. I understand that there are still some bones, some skeletons there on that island, and I think that we, the ancestors of those bones, we should somehow, I don't know how we're going to do it, run some DNA diagnostics on those bones and see who they are. But anyways, Balisol is a place that every Garifuna person needs to visit. The Jews go to Mecca every year to pray to their ancestors, and I think that we should do the same and go to Balisol and pay homage to all our ancestors, because they did so much for us to remain who we are. So in a moment we'll talk about the way we were before the colonizers came. And I know, Brother Amadi, you've been talking about the restoration of Garifuna. You want to?
Yes. Yeah. You want me to, well, yeah, Francois, the way we were, and I tried to do some research. I talked to people, older people, you know, you have to try to get an idea of what being a Garifuna was like, you know, at certain times. So those are questions, again, what they call oral tradition, like oral knowledge that we can still get from our grandparents who are alive today. So that's an interesting topic we can get into. We will get into.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have our work cut out for us, and from the inception of Garivision Indigenous Network, I knew that I had work to do. We had work to do, and I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. And it hasn't been easy. But you know what? We are moving forward one day at a time, and we are doing what we said we were going to do, to change the mindset of Garifuna one mind at a time, to empower, to enlighten, to educate, and to entertain you, our viewers. And again, I'd like to say thank you so much for every person who has tuned in all these years. And before beginning this show, I would like to say again, thank you to everyone who donated towards that Royces Brigal monument. We are going to be doing work on it shortly. Charles Castillo, thank you. Bright Shine Poetry, thank you. Melissa Rock, thank you. Miss Rosita Alvarez, thank you. Thank you again, each and every one of you, for donating your funds. We really do appreciate it. And we're going to be starting the work on that project shortly, possibly around the 15th of November, somewhere around there where of September, sorry. But around the 15th of September, we will start that project. Anyways, let's take a commercial break, and then we will come right back and dive into the show. This is Garivision Indigenous Network. Garifuna Suwanda.
Sugarcane Energy Booster, available exclusively at Garivision Indigenous Network Studios, number 1 Rice Street in Dangriga. Phone or WhatsApp 613-6073, 613-6073. Niceness, it's good for the young and the old. No preservatives or additives, all natural. Niceness.
Yeah, niceness is coming back, Dangriga. Niceness is coming back. I hope you guys didn't think that the niceness was done, but niceness is on the way back. Hopefully, our attention right now is to produce niceness right here in the United States, and then bring it back to Belize. And again, about niceness, it's an energy drink that I created many years ago, and I've always said that coming back to Belize was where I was going to provide economic stability, economic growth for individuals right there in Dangriga. I hope that I can come back and I could provide employment for about 7 individuals with niceness, because niceness is an energy booster drink that I believe that we need. We really do need it. It's all preservative. It's all natural. No preservative in it, and hopefully, I mentioned earlier, we can start to mass produce that niceness right here in the United States, and give back to Dangriga. At least that is the mission. Brother Amadi, I know you've tasted niceness. You want to talk briefly about niceness?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good energy, immune booster. Guys, it's natural. It's sugar. It's natural sugar cane, and with the other ingredients, with the lime and the cayenne and all that good stuff. It's good for whether it's in the winter, it could be in the summertime. The drink is refreshing and healthy. So I would highly recommend you try one and see what you think about it if you have not tried it already.
Yeah, and niceness. Let me talk briefly about niceness. I created this recipe, man, when I was living in New Orleans, wow, wait a minute. I was right before Hurricane Katrina. And Hurricane Katrina it made, 20 years today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 20 years today? 20 years or 25 years? 20 years. Yeah, it makes 20 years today. So it's been 20 years or more that I had this recipe in my head. And I knew that eventually I would produce it in the United States and give back to Dangriga. But when I went to retire in Dangriga, I took the factory, the machines and all the equipment in Dangriga, and I would give it. I said I was going to give it a try and see how it would go in Dangriga, which I did, and it went very well. So my intention is to come back to Dangriga and produce niceness throughout the entire country and the Caribbean, because I have some people in Jamaica who were really interested in niceness. I have some people in St. Vincent who are really interested in niceness. So niceness is going to provide employment for a handful of individuals right there in Dangriga. At least that's the goal. That's the goal, is to give back to Dangriga, because I've always said when I retire from the United States, I was going to go back to Dangriga and be a part of the community and give back financially, emotionally to Dangriga, because Dangriga is my home, and Dangriga is where I want to be buried. Dangriga is where I want to die, and Dangriga is where I will return to. So yeah, niceness is coming back. So niceness is coming back shortly to Dangriga, and let me just say this as well: every bottle that we sell, a portion of that proceeds will go into a foundation for the youths in Dangriga, because I believe that if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it, and we have to take care of our children. We have to take care of our youths. We have to guide our youth in the right direction. We have to enlighten. We have to embolden. We have to empower our youths of today, because we are losing it, and that's why we're going to talk briefly about the way we were before the colonizers came. Let me cut to you real quick, Brother Lino. You want to touch?
Yeah, Francois. I'm willing to. I'm waiting for you to get into the history. If you have any, if you have any reference to the way we were, either on the island of St. Vincent, or maybe just a personal experience growing up that you see that was something authentically Garifuna, right? Those are the questions that for viewers, again, I'm always asking to share, because again, I might have a different experience growing up and you have a different experience, but because what happened is that you can see from your time, from my time, each generation, you can probably see that there's less and less of a traditional Garifuna is just fading away, what you call a cultural erosion. So as far back as we can go to get the core of where we were, some of the viewers, maybe they can chime in, like how you raise your kids, right? That's something. Basically the institution of family. What does the wife or the woman do in the household? What does the man do? I mean, what do you remember? What some of you guys, some of the viewers remember as a child, a normal day in the life of a Garifuna growing up?
Yeah, you know what? And my mom used to tell me that they used to have a group called the Women's Auxiliary. I was talking with Bill Flores about this group a couple of days ago, and the Women Auxiliary, they taught the women how to be women. I don't remember. My mom is passed now, so I cannot ask her about these questions anymore. But I used to sit and talk with my mom, the way she was when she was growing up. She said everything was Garifuna, and you know what? And this is just me talking. I believe that segregation was the way for us to go, because when we became integrated, we became them, right? We became them, and then we lost who we were. We don't speak our language. We don't practice our spirituality. Yeah, so integration and assimilation, in a sense, destroyed us.
Right.
It really did.
Right.
Go ahead.
Francois, even when it comes to food, right?
Yeah.
I remember, you remember the momote, you remember the gumana, you remember the different food, the tapo, what makes us Garifuna people really and truly don't really like our food anymore and prefer somebody else's food. We don't make tapo. You hardly see people make tapo when they got. Yes, I get the hudud. Most people like it, but there are other food that are the Garifuna that we are not. And I think possibly it's a shame that we were ashamed of it at one time, because people looked down on it, that it was more rustic, like kind of like town, village people where they eat, compared to city rice and beans, right? And we didn't want to hold on to our food, because I find China go buy Garifuna food. You hardly find Spanish people. I don't even know if they got other people who buy hudud except Garifuna, and except it was on the 19th, right? Because again, we ourselves don't really want to eat our own food. We rather eat somebody else's food. So again, that's my take on the food. We have the family, like I said, we got different institutions under the Garifuna tradition. And I'm just talking about food. Can you remember any food that you grew up growing up and you ate and you don't see it anymore?
Yeah, I will tell you about grantu. I make grantu here in our home all the time, and I tell my wife we used to have grantu occasionally, and I don't see grantu anymore. You don't see pinule anymore, right? You don't see there's a lot you don't see. Gongure. Do you know what gongure is?
Yeah, the dry banana powder.
Yeah, right. But I don't see that anymore. I rarely see gongure. And all the restaurants you go to in Dangriga, you don't find grantu, you don't find tapo, you don't find boniga, you don't find darasa, but you're gonna find rice and beans and fried chicken and all this, right?
Yeah.
And from the moment the colonizers came in contact with the Garifuna, we had problems, because number one, the Garifuna, they knew that they were spiritual people. They didn't want to practice any colonizer's religion. They didn't want to practice the colonizer's language. They didn't want to speak the colonizer's language. So from the inception of the Garifuna with the colonizers, there were major problems until the colonizers decided that they were going to exile the the Garifuna people because they were too powerful, they were too strong, they were too resistant. They call them. Can you imagine? They call them terrorists. When you come into my country and terrorize my people, and no, you're gonna call me terrorist because I'm defending my land and my way of life, and now you're gonna call me terrorist, right? And now today after 200 years, we have people in Dangriga who call themselves doctor, and because they have a master's degree. And you know what, man? It's a shame that the people with their degrees. Let me analyze. Let me have my analogy. Let's say this book. This is my book, and this is a book that you went to school for from infant one to high school, from high school to college, and you learn this book. So in actuality, all you would know is this book, right? And this book teaches you what to think. It doesn't teach you how to think, right? This book teaches you what to think. It doesn't teach you how to think. And that's why today, right there in Dangriga, we have a lot of educated people who do not know what critical thinking is, right? Because if you had critical thinking, you would be able to analyze everything that's happening right now in Dangriga.
Right.
Yeah, would you agree, Brother Amadi?
Yeah. I think critical thinking will probably take you outside. You will be the one outside thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
But again, so when you think about the way how in a household, right? Just the way we raise our kids at one point and contemporary today. Most kids, like I said, they don't really have chores like growing up when you were young. From 7, 8, 9, you already start wash plates, you start rake the yard. Yeah, a lot of kids now, a lot of parents don't have the assigned chores to the kids. So and that when you assign chores to your kids, that start build up a sense of responsibility from a young age. Right? That's why you start giving your kids like little chores just so they can get accustomed to when the real life hit them, they'll be familiar with working. It's not, life just doesn't come, sit down and do nothing.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, growing up, we would go to the farm, we could go back sun, rake the yard, something you do every morning you get up, you don't just get up and do nothing. You have to find something to do. Right? Remember, that's how our grandmother or my grandmother would be the older one, the older people would be their mother, right? Because I'm saying that the disciplinarian was the grandmother. After the grandmother, it kind of disappeared, right? We don't have too much of that, what they would call old-fashioned ways again,
Yeah, you know what? And I remember when I spoke about this recently, when I was growing up, in my generation, children couldn't go and jump in that ring, right? And right. sexualize the Garifuna dance. As a matter of fact, when you dance Wanaragua, Mr. Garcia, your Max, man, listen, you had to make sure that your clothes were ironed, that everything was nice and neat. And you couldn't go and dance no chagagwanes in that ring because Mr. Yo Max would beat the crap out of you. He would really discipline you to know that you, as a child, you are not supposed to denigrate this culture. You are not supposed to sexualize this dance. No. But today, we have lost our way, man. We've lost our way. The dancing is sexualized. Everything is out of control. And then when you speak about it, for me, the CEO of Garivision Indigenous Network, man, listen, I have been slandered because you know what? I have principles, right? I have principle, man. I have principle. I have creativity, right? and I speak the truth, and people do not like me because of my character, because I speak with authority, right? They say I'm too harsh. They say I'm a radical. But you know what? It needs to be said, and it doesn't matter how it's said. I remember speaking to someone recently because they say I always criticize NGC and always this and always that and always this and always that. But listen, let me say this again. I've said this many times. I'm gonna say it again today. If I am representing you and I am not doing what my MOU or articles of association are saying, if I'm not doing that and I'm representing you, would you be upset? Of course you would be.
Yeah. Well, if I could chime in, Francois.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's put it like this then, right? Don't let it be a non-profit organization. Just turn it into a for-profit, right? It's not an organization anymore, it's for profit. You hire a president, you hire a secretary and a treasurer. It's just like a board, right, of a company. Yeah. And you give each board members their duty to carry out, right?
Yeah.
And how your business is supposed to run so you can make your money, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
The guys that fill up for the application, they get the job, and when they get there, they go about their way and they just forget everything you tell them about the requirements. You would fire that person. That's my point, is that if they don't follow the rules, you get fired. That's basically my point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's basically the situation with what you're speaking about when it comes to the NGC. You know, they're not complying or adhering to the memorandum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. I agree, man. I definitely agree. But go ahead.
Okay. You know, I was just about to add that the only way it's only an opinion that I believe that for a tradition, for a culture to last, right, for it to continue, is to imitate, right, to repeat the same thing from our ancestors, right? That's the only way a tradition is carried on, by repeating what was taught from the past. We do not want to repeat what was handed down to us from the past. We want to pick up something different. We want to be, right? We want to be more Eurocentric rather than, for lack of a better word, I'll say Afrocentric or Garifuna identity. We don't want that. Mm-hmm. So that's why we don't. And again, if we're going to keep a tradition and culture, the only way is to repeat what was taught to us in the past.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to stress that I believe that segregation was the way to go, man, because integration has caused us to be we assimilated into somebody else's culture, and we became them, you know, and they didn't want to be us, but we became them instead.
Yeah.
So
that a great game.
Yeah. We read a comment from Gary Global. I don't know that we were not Christians in the Yorume. I do know. Oh, he said he do know that we were not Christians in Yorume. Yeah, of course. You know what? When we were in Yorume, before the colonizers came, we were intelligent, right? We didn't go to school, right? There wasn't any universities there in St. Vincent. There wasn't any master's degree program or associate's degree program in St. Vincent, but we were very, very much intelligent. That's what I've always said. Before I became educated, I was already intelligent. So you can't take away my intelligence and my education, and then I'm not, because I'm still intelligent. So you can take away my education, but I still have my intelligence that God, my ancestors blessed me with. So before the colonizers came, we were already intelligent, right? We were so intelligent that we tricked them. let me talk about the foxhole. Do you know that the Garifuna are the ones who invented the foxhole? We
Oh, I didn't
Yeah, yeah. That's why they used to tease we. Oh, on the Caribbean, the dog bark you out a hole. You know what? You know where that came from? That came from the British had to bring their dogs to dig us out the holes because we were practicing guerrilla warfare.
right, right.
Right? Do you know that we were the ones who invented pepper spray? You know, the Garifuna people, they used to grind up the red pepper, dry it, and grind it up, and they would throw it in their eyes. Right? It's in
Yeah.
listen, it's in his story. His story
Yeah.
is in his story. So he wrote it about us. Right? So we didn't write it. He wrote it. His story is his story about us, is his version about us. And that's why I say we need to write our story. We need to rewrite and write our story, man, because his story about us is screwed up. I remember listening to somebody with a degree, a doctor's degree in Belize, in Dangriga, last 19th of November, talking about the slave ship story, how, oh yeah, we were slaves, and I say, how could you have a master's degree and you don't have no critical thinking to analyze that story, right? If you sit and practice critical thinking and analyze everything that's his story about us, come on, you would have to have some doubts, many doubts,
Right.
right? I sit down and I analyze everything. When I was in the military, I was trained to analyze, to be a critical thinker. My commander used to tell me, Estrada, man, come on, you can't be a critical stinker. You better be a critical thinker. So to all my people in Namibia, listen, is the time is now to take away that critical stinker part of you and become a critical thinker, right? You should be able to analyze whatever is written to you, whatever you hear, whatever you see. You should be able to analyze and make sense from nonsense, right? Critical thinking. That's what critical thinking is all about. And you have to teach our children now, at the age that they are now, about who we are as Garifuna. And listen, not because I speak with authority and I stand up strong and I carry myself like a soldier means I'm a bad person. No, I know exactly what I want for my people, and I know what needs to be done with our people, and I know what the solution is. The solution for Garifuna is to get back all of we land. Is to get back all our land. That is our solution, right? That is our solution. Once we get our land, we'll know what to do.
Yeah.
All right. Let me read. Melissa Rock said, the Garifuna outfit, the Wanarga outfit, was crisp after being sprayed with starch to keep it stiff. Yeah, you know what, Amadi? I don't know if you remember. You remember the starching? Do you? Do you remember the Rara starch?
The who starch?
The Rara.
No, not familiar with
Okay,
that.
all right. Listen, when I was growing up, right, they used to iron your uniform with starch, homemade starch, and your uniform was so sharp it would cut you, man. Right? That's how sharp. That's how sharp the creases were. So can you imagine now, as a little boy, you don't wear no brief, right? Can you imagine? You don't wear no brief, and your school pants stiff up. So what I do? So in the morning, I used to do my school pants like this. I do my school pants just like this, right? Because it was so sharp, it would cut you up, man. Yeah, but the rubber starch, They used to iron your clothes with the rubber starch, man, and it would preserve your clothes. But it would make it sharp. Your crease would be so sharp. So Melissa was saying that they used to iron the clothes with the rubber starch. Yeah, and that's why it was so sharp at that time. There's another comment here by Melissa Rock. Garifuna Duchess touched on the difference between religion and spirituality. We will be spiritual Garifuna people. Yeah, we were always spiritual people. You know, the religious people said that we were devil worshippers because we have our own Daboyaba, and we practice our spirituality. But if you look at his story, every indigenous people are spiritual people.
Right, but
Yeah, go ahead.
well, you know, you talk about critical thinking, and
Yeah,
like you said, when the colonizers were saying that about the religion, but while at the same time, right, they're saying that devil worship and all this, while at the same time they're the one killing. You don't know that they're the one slaughtering and
Yeah.
you know doing all the raping, and
Yeah.
they're calling the other one devil worship while they're doing all the devil activities.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Even today, when you hear on TV is a mass shooting, it's not 99% of the time. It's not a black face, right? Right.
Right.
So even today, they're the ones committing all these heinous crimes, right? You never I've never heard of a black person committing mass shooting like that. But they want to call us savages, right? Anyways, Brother Charles Castillo said, "How do we get back our land?" Well, Brother Castillo, we need sharp, critical thinkers, because right now we have a bunch of critical stinkers, but we need some sharp, critical thinkers who will not be afraid to be adversarial with the government that believes you. You have to be sharp. You have to be able to analyze everything, man. And we have these tools, the ILO 169, the UNDRIPS. They are right there for you, our leaders, to use. That is the tool that every indigenous people have used to get access to their indigenous land, right? So we need strong leaders.
Right.
Yeah,
Indeed.
but Castillo also said that we should learn the difference between spirituality and religion. And you know what? And that's a damn valid point there, Brother Castillo. We have to learn the differences between religion and spirituality and education and intelligence, right? If we can learn the differences between those, listen, we will be on our way back. But let's take a commercial break, and then we will come right back into our discussion. And then we'll go into the Garifuna word of the day and the Garifuna music for the day. But let's take a commercial break, and then we will be right back.
Yeah, critical thinker.
Okay. Listen. You see how these dancers were in this music video. I made sure that all their outfits were ironed. We made sure their fingernails were clean, because I told them, listen, I'm shooting this production with 4K cameras, and everything is going to show. If you have dirt under your nail, it's going to show. If your ribbons are not iron, it's going to show. If your shirt has a lot of creases in it, it's going to show. So I made sure that every person who danced in this production made sure that their clothes were ironed. I made sure they smile. I made sure they presented themselves professionally in a professional way, and I made sure that everything was done in a way that was pleasing to the eyes, because I told them, listen, this production is not filmed only for Belize, right? People in the United States, people in England, people around the globe are going to see this production. So I want to represent the Garifuna culture in a beautiful way. Look at how these dancers are. Look, they everything is ironed. They're smiling, and they are showcasing the Garifuna culture in a very positive way, right? See, the dancing, there's no vulgarity, no sexualizing of the dance. I remember when we used to have, I remember when we used to have Chaikanara dances, right? There were no sexualized. Now, Chaikanara, I don't even know what that is. To me, at the lone ras, like Palacio said last week, that past ras, you know, Chaikanara used to be an entertaining dance, man. Now, that's the past ras, man. I don't know what the hell our leaders are doing right there in Dangriga. They're sexualizing our culture. They are degrading our women, and our leaders are right there with their hands up their ass, right? And they're not doing. What are they doing? What are they doing to help to revive this beautiful culture? What are they doing? Brother Marty? Yeah.
I don't know if it's some of these guys getting comfortable with the dresses that they're wearing, if that's the thing, and they have to wait every year just to get away with wearing dress, you know. I don't know, man. Look like they get too comfortable sometimes to me, and it's Shekinah, but like you say, it's getting too outrageous to me, likewise.
Yeah, to me, from my perspective, everything Garifuna in Dangriga is getting other hand. Everything is outrageously other hand, man. Everything is other hand. And if we don't, when I went to Urume, not one person in Urume understood Garifuna. Can you imagine? They don't really understand the language, but they know bits and pieces of words, but they don't really understand the language. Because I went to every town in St. Vincent. I went to everyone from Sandy Bay to Baruli to Oweya, Losuferi, and no one speaks Garifuna, right? No one. So if that can happen in St. Vincent, our homeland, what makes you think it can happen in Dangriga?
Exactly.
What makes you think it can happen in Dangriga? Look what's happening right now. Our children don't understand Garifuna. If you ask somebody in Garifuna, you know what they're going to tell you? Me not talk that, right?
Right, true.
Yeah, that's what they're going to tell you. Me not talk that. But you know what? You rather speak somebody else's. But you know what, man? Again, you can't blame the children.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
because I was once a child, and I talked like a child, and that's the way I was when I was a child. Because no one wasn't there to guide me, to guide me in the right direction to keep my culture alive. So we can't blame the children, because when I was a child, I did the same thing. My parents came to the United States and left me with their relatives, and you know what? They didn't care about speaking a language. So we can't blame the children. We have to blame their parents. Right?
One of the things that I noticed, Francois, like parents trying to do now is to rather teach their children not even to speak Creole, but more American English. From you know what I mean? They watch the cartoons or they watch the whatever the children watch. But there are some parents who rather teach their children to speak English rather than Creole. And definitely not Garifuna, you know my point. So I don't know, again, is where you could tell where they put the value that the value of the language. Garifuna language is of no value, so you don't need to learn that. You need to learn English, which is valuable, not your language. So it shows where we put our value system again, right? That's why we don't teach it to our children, because we feel it's not value to it, is unnecessary. And again, even though, again, I remind everyone though that it's on the contrary that language is powerful, right? Francois, you know, some of the best times Garifuna people could appreciate the language is in America when, you know, let's say you get pulled up at customs and you know that you want to talk to your family, you know, without let the agent they know the language come in handy, right?
Yeah, very much.
Because the power of the language that someone do not, and only you and me can understand what the other person can. That's what's special about language and powerful.
Yeah, let me read a comment from Janice Coleman. You know what? This is a very interesting comment because I've heard this one before. She said, "When we get back our land, what will be the purpose?" Let me see. What will be the purpose when the new generation rather work for the tourism industry and say they don't want to be slaves if they have to farm for survival? They don't want to. They say they're going to be slaves if they want to farm for survival. Anihe Gudemebe. Yeah, we can't survive by our own hands. We depend on others for our survival. But you know what, Janice? Thank you for that comment. Very much so. Thank you for that comment. But we have to let our children know that land is wealth, right?
Yeah.
So if you get your land back, you cannot sell that land. You cannot sell it. As a matter of fact, indigenous land were not supposed to be sold, but we have to. We will have to educate the people, Janice. We will have to do a lot of educating. As you see where we are right now in Hopkins and Dangriga and CNBite and PG, you see where we are right now. There's a lot of educating that needs to happen, and it's possible. It's very possible. Let me read another comment here from Melissa Rock. She said, "The Garifuna people in St. Vincent are learning the language now and are tuning to watch Garivision to learn about the culture from the Garifuna people in Central America and partner with us to bring the Garifuna language into the community and schools." Yeah, that's what's happening now. I mean, James Lavelle is doing a great job with these children in Urume and Nicaragua. He's doing a great job doing what he's doing. Bulgaria Forrest says, in Urume, the language was banned by the British invaders. In Belize, we ourselves banned the language. God damn.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn. Man. Bill, you can hard, brother. But
there was a reason for it, though, Francois, why the language wasn't passed down, because the colonizers make sure the language became useless, that you can't get a job with it. You can't speak it in your job. You know, so they make the language useless. You can't go to school and speak it. You're not learning it in school. So I think that's one of the reasons why I think some of our grandparents and parents felt pressured into teaching the English language, right?
Yeah.
Because how you want to get to a job if you only speak Garifuna? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but
again, that would have said to that, because we already got duped into working for the slave master anyway, the colonizer anyway, because we didn't have to worry about job if we were to keep our own community and provide for ourselves. Then we would need a job and we would need to learn the English language. Again, even though they, again, I use the Mennonites, even though they speak English, but they speak their German language in their community even today. So the Garifuna people could have done the same thing that the Mennonites were doing. But again, we know that that's a discrimination reason behind the difference between what happened to the Garifuna people and the Mennonites community in Belize.
Yeah, when you go to the Mennonite community to buy from them, you know what? Their family, they're speaking the German language. They're not speaking English, right?
Yeah.
So they're behind the counter speaking their own language, and they're probably talking about you, right? Because you know what? Listen, they knew the power of segregation, right? So they remain segregated. They don't want to be around you people, right? They don't want to be around you people, so they remain segregated. You know what? And they knew the importance of segregation, because when they're segregated, they could speak their language in the community. They can teach their own children their own religion, their own spirituality, their own whatever, right?
Yeah, so what they do, right? They keep their people away from any type of outside influence. That's when it comes to radio and TV, but particularly. They will not, the Mennonites saying that you cannot educate my child because you would brainwash my child. You cannot give my child any spiritual guidance because they would deviate from what is morally good according to the Mennonite community. So that's why they kept them out of the church, kept the people out of the society's church and society education system, because those are where you're going to mold a child from a young age of school and church. You mold a child into the different ideas, and then later on you come through television and social media that influence while a child grow up. But they keep their people away from that stuff.
Yeah. The indoctrination is real, man.
Yeah.
But listen, let's go into our music video for the day, and I want to share this production with you, our viewers, because this is a part of the Garifuna culture that we have kept alive for many years. I know in Honduras, this dance is practiced in dresses, but in Belize, is practiced in pants and shirts. So let me just share this 1 hour ago production with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But this is a part of the Garifuna culture that we keep alive. So let's go into this production, and then we will be right back. This is Garivision Indigenous Network, changing the way we look at Garifuna Suanda. Yeah, we will change the mindset one mind at a time. Okay, hope you guys enjoy this production. All right, all right. I hope you guys enjoy that production. But you know what? Let me say something about the Garifuna dances, right? Do you realize that every Garifuna dance, if the drummer isn't maintaining eye contact with the dancer, it's gonna be off, right? It's gonna be off. So the Garifuna dances are a couple. If you look around the entire globe, around the entire indigenous people, the Garifuna dances, the every last one of the Garifuna dances, the Punta, the Chumba, the Wanaragua, the Samba, every last one of them, the drummer has to maintain eye contact with the dancer, because if not, it's gonna be off. So that's a very important knowledge that we should realize how important our dances are and how important our culture is. Yeah. Janice Coleman, man, Janice, you're on to this. You make another very, very, very valid point. She said, keeping the culture was one of the reasons why our parents didn't encourage marriage out of the culture. Man, that is again, segregation, right? Yeah, that's why our parents didn't want us to marry outside of the culture. We now complain. Good one. Good, let me see. We now complain about cousins marrying cousins. Keeping the culture was in purpose. We marry outside our culture and we assimilate. And Janice, you're right on point. You are right on point today. Well, you know what? Whenever I talk with you, you're always on point anyway. So, yeah, but the valid point today, this one is a valid one. Very much
Right.
so. Alino?
Yeah, it's true. I agree, man. And again, it's something. It's an education again for us. So I even think with our youths, there should even be a class about family life, teaching young people what to expect when they get into relationship. I don't know how we're gonna do it, if it's a Garifuna way of life or if it's a assimilated or what I call a liberal way of life. I don't know, but I think that's important, and that's why I think our family breakup. If our woman could understand the position, the position that they are men, we are the Garifuna men, what the position that we are in and why we're in certain conditions. They are here, they're born here with us, they see. And the men likewise, we can see what our women go through, and we should be able to understand each other, I believe personally, and should be able to sustain and maintain a healthy relationship. But again, we're not seeing eye to eye, both men and women. Like I said, the man is not living as a Garifuna man, and the woman is not. That's why I think you always have that fiction, because they're both assuming false identity and trying to come together as one.
You know what? And that's why I believe that every Garifuna organization today, Garivision, DIFA, Garifuna Nation, every last one of us, man, we shouldn't be so damn divisive. We should learn how to communicate with each other, man. I remember I heard Egbert Hino saying that he had distance for himself for anybody who's criticized NDC. But you know what? A leader doesn't speak like that. A leader would try and figure out how to come together. You see, I pick up my phone and I call Egbert, I call Daifa, I call Salon Bell, I call Urue, I call everybody, I call Michael Flores, because you know what? I believe that we have the solution. We's right there, man. Every last one of us. Stop fussing with each other and stop fighting, and it's time to come together, man. We have the solution. We have the
Yeah.
solution. We have the solution.
But you know, if I could chime in a little bit again, Francois.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we have, right? Many of us right now, many of Garifuna, and we have to talk about what is a colonial mind, what is a colonial mentality, because what I'm saying is that we still have that attitude of I better than you better than me, because whether it's finance, whether it's education, whatever the scenario, we still have that. That's why we don't even get along with our own family, brother, sister, mommy, you know, this one, they make more money, get treated better, and we just fragmented so bad. And again, money should never separate people. If you see, we allow money to get into our heads, and we start value ourselves based on how much money they make. And oh, I love this one more because he or she make more money and she could help you. You know, and then the one who could be the more just, the more honest, the more kind-hearted, the more loving. But then he or she poor. Nobody go visit. Nobody give her a call. Yeah. People don't really care. Like, you know what I mean? We treat our own family bad, man, based on this Eurocentric idea.
You know what? I remember. Let me just mention this. Somebody said that I took up myself. I think because I come from states, I this and I that. Listen, you fool. Let me explain this to you. Right? I've said this many times, and I'm gonna say it again tonight. I sold my home in the United States after I retired, and I brought all my equipment right there in Dangriga to give back to the community. I wasn't expecting a damn penny from anybody in Dangriga, right? I invested a multi-million-dollar studio right there in Dangriga, and I wasn't expecting money from anybody. So say what you want to say. I know what I need to do to give back to the community. So let's go into our. Before I go into the Griffin Award of the day, that Wanaraga production, from my recollection, from looking on YouTube and looking all around, this was the very first time that a drone was used to capture the Wanaraga dance. And do you know how difficult it is to sync the audio from the ground to the drone? But guess what? Garivision Indigenous Network, we did it. Because we are changing the way we look at Garifuna, one mind at a time. Let's go into our Garifuna word of the day. And the word for today is Beba Amerigua. Beba Amerigua. Go and rest. You know, when people die, we would say, oh man, Beba Amerigua Hama Wayunago. Go and rest with our ancestors. Beba Amerigua. You know, and sometimes I see the word Amerigua. Beba Amerigua. I don't know which one is correct, Amerigua, or are they both the same? Is it, some people in Honduras say Amerigua, and we say Amerigua? I don't know, but the word is Beba Amerigua or Beba Amerigua. I don't know which one is correct, but we in Dangriga, we use Beba Amerigua. We use Amerigua. So it means to go and rest or maybe go and sleep. If you're tired and I tell you, man, well, Beba Amerigua. Or you say, Beba Rumaga. It's the same thing. Or Beba Amerigua, go rest or go sleep. So when you die, we always say, Beba Amerigua Hamawayunaga. So go and rest with the ancestors. So Beba Amerigua means to go and rest. Let me just post here from Charles Castillo. He says that my sister Eleanor Bullock is also doing a great job promoting our culture. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we can't forget Eleanor. She cannot stand taking in Garifuna language and get answered back in Creole or English. Part of the work she is doing, yeah, I know. When you talk to Eleanor and when she talks to you in Garifuna, she will respect you to answer back in Garifuna. You know what? And that was one of the issues when I was growing up, because my grandmother would speak to me in Garifuna and I would answer back in Creole. And no one didn't say, you know what, Gastu Badima Garifuna, yeah. Nobody didn't say that to me. So if that's what Eleanor is doing, I'm proud of what she's doing, because if you speak to me in Garifuna, then I would expect you to answer back to me in Garifuna. But Amadi?
Yeah, well, I'm terrible. Well, I know I'm supposed to know the reference, but Musa, right?
Musa.
Yeah, my granny. I learned from my granny, but I can't speak it fluently. Because what I could dissect a few words and I could speak a few words, but again, I think I say Tuesday. One of my wish, and I'll get in touch with Eleanor, because I have to hang around so she could pressure me for talk Garifuna. I need somebody like that. So because I really and truly do want learn. I think that's one of my goals. Again, before I leave this earth, is to speak fluently in my language.
Well, I have a suggestion for you. All you got to do is go and hang out with Michael Flores, right? Because man, listen, Michael Flores speaks perfect Garifuna, right?
Yeah.
So I've also said that when I come back to live in Dangriga on a full-time basis, I will spend a lot of time at the Garifuna Republic. Because listen, Brother Michael Flores is my ally, all right? He's my ally. So you will never hear me speak ill about Michael Flores. You will never hear me condemn Michael Flores, because he's my ally, and I love what this guy is doing. Right?
Like Russia and China, America and Israel.
Yeah. So he's my ally. So don't expect me to speak badly about my ally, because you won't hear America speak badly about Israel, or you won't hear Israel talk badly about America. You won't hear China talk badly about Russia, because you know what, they're allies, right? So and that's where we should be. Therefore, I want to be your ally. Everybody, I want to be your ally. I don't want to be your adversary. No, I don't want to do that. And that's how we're gonna survive, if we all become allies. Anyways, we're at the end of the show, and before we end, I want to say thank you so much, Melissa Rock, for being behind the control, being the control room technician, manage all the buttons and thing. So, so thank you so much, Melissa, for being the control person. And when Brother Amadi said, Musu means piece by pieces.
Yeah.
You say, you understand, Garifuna Musu, you speak Musu. Right?
Yeah.
Or you can always say chongwa. Chongwa Garifuna means it's chop it up. Chop it up. Chongwa.
Yeah.
It's like the Garifuna meal. Chongwa. You know why it's called chongwa?
I do that chongwa, where chop it up or block it up.
Yeah, that's why it's called chongwa, because the banana is cut up in pieces, right? So it's called chongwa. So when they say siant nadima Garifuna pero chongwa nadima, it means talking in pieces, or you chop it up. But anyways, thank you to all our viewers today for all the beautiful comments. Janice Coleman, Bootsy Rankin, Charles Castillo, Evan Hill, Ignatius Francis, Oscar Chavez Suazo. Hey man, where have you been, bro? I haven't heard from you in quite some time. Oscar Chavez Suazo. I know he was in I think he was in the North Pole in Alaska, or Greenland or Newfoundland, somewhere around there. I thought you got married to an Eskimo or something. But I'm glad you're back, Oscar Suazo. I'm glad you tuned in today. And again, thank you to each and every one of you who has listened to Garivision, who tuned to Garivision all these years. We really do appreciate our viewers, your viewers, our viewers. We really do appreciate you. And again, thank you, Brother Amadi, for joining the show. Thank you, Melissa Rapp, for being the controls. Thank you to all our viewers. And again, Melissa will have her show Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12. Yeah, from 10 to 11:30 to 12. Melissa Roches will be on the Healthy Corner this Saturday. Yeah, it's going to be a part two. The part two on prostate. It's going to be a very interesting show. So stay tuned for Healthy Corner Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And again, thank you so much, Brother Marty. Peace out to you. And we say, ayo, ayo, ayo. Deme, Haruga, Mama Haruga, Deme Samud.
Repeat what you said, Francois.
I said Deme Haruga, but not tomorrow. We said Deme Samudi.
All right, Deme Samudi.
Yeah.
Haruga.
No,
All right.
Mama Haruga, Samudi.
All right, Samudi. All right. Samudi then.
All right.
Ayo.
Ayo. Blessings.
Yes.
Sarawak, Garinagu, Sarawak. Sarawak, Garinagu, Sarawak. Sarawama, Garinagu, Sarawama. Sarawama, Garinagu, Sarawama. Millennium 2000 is upon us. Still we sit around with a fuss. Arise, indigenous people. Sarawama, Garinagu, Sarawama. Sarawama, Lida, Yewenedu. Sarawama, Garinagu, Sarawama. Chulu, Hada, Niduheyo. The time is now, Garinagu. Sarawama, Garinagu, Sarawama. Wake up, Garinagu, Sarawama. Sarawama.